Well, folks, welcome back to the channel. We are in Kentucky, I think, or we're in northern Tennessee. I'm not sure. We're right on that border between northern Tennessee and the southern border of Kentucky. We're out doing the Kentucky Adventure Tour in reverse. So we're doing the loop counterclockwise. I'm out here with a bunch of other people, probably about 20 other cars, possibly 25 other cars. We just aired down the tires to about 20 psi to get the drive a little bit better. Pretty nice spot though. We got quite the crew out here. To kind of fill you in, we're on a 3-day trip. It's 2 nights out here in the, I'm not even sure what this actual forest is called, but we're on the Kentucky Adventure Tour. It's actually a 900-mile loop. It's like 6,000 acres of trails that you can 4x4 on. We're gonna be wheeling for most of today until we find whatever campsite they have picked out for the night. And then Jen and I went ahead and packed up some gourmet, if I may say so myself, dinners for the next 2 nights. So we're excited to cook and do a little truck camping out of the back of the Tacoma. The trail pulling off the pavement got intense right away, and unfortunately Jenna and I didn't film that little first obstacle just because we were so shocked by it and then also focused on getting through it that we didn't pick up the camera. But here you can see they're filming these little segments here of the whole convoy making its way up this hill. It was definitely an eye-opener as far as what the rest of the trip was going to entail and kind of the intensity of the trail that was going to be expected. Because this was my first time out, I was really focused on following the guy in front of me. So as we were going through these mud pits here, you know, I'm just following his line and trying to make sure I'm staying on throttle. This was my first time really using the 4-wheel drive on the truck, especially the 4-low. And so I was not only figuring that out, but alongside of that, choosing the appropriate gears with the 5-speed, learning that I could probably start on a hill in 2nd gear in 4-low. Was pretty crucial. And then also being able to put it in 1st gear just coming down a hill and not having to use the brakes as much was just such an incredible experience with the truck. So here, you know, I'm popping it back into 1st gear without using the brakes so I don't slide on the wet leaves or mud into the guy in front of me. We were giving each other a lot of space, especially on the hills. You definitely can't tell from the video, but things were starting to get a little wet and sloppy. So just giving each other a lot of space on the uphills and the downhills. You know, here just trying to get over some trees that had fallen down that were loose. So trying to stay on throttle and make sure I don't get hung up on anything like that. But man, I really can't explain how intense this trail was. And I wish we had the camera rolling at some of the more intense parts, but just such a learning experience for me in this Tacoma and learning its capabilities and how to honestly just drive it better in these wheeling and off-road circumstances. One of the sketchiest portions of the trail riding was definitely maneuvering around some of the sharp hairpin turns where oftentimes we'd have a 100-foot cliff on our right side or our left side. So if you don't stay on throttle, you're likely going to slip off that edge. And not that I felt that we were in any life danger, but you know, you definitely get a little bit scared at moments like that, and you want to just keep on throttle and keep the truck in an appropriate kind of angle and making sure you can pull out of the obstacle, you know, safely. This is definitely eye-opening and a whole new ball game for me. I'm not gonna lie, I'm quite nervous about taking the truck on this, but I'm kind of in it. I'm not sure how much longer we are gonna be on this trail today or when we're gonna stop for lunch. I know right now we're kind of trying to navigate around a truck that's coming the opposite direction. We have like 20 cars, so we're trying to navigate on this tiny 1 lane. There's not much room to pull off anywhere. this is really the first time I've even gotten to use four-wheel drive a bunch, and especially 4-low. So right now I've been in 4-low between second and first gear. Haven't really needed third yet, but so far first and second's been pretty nice and smooth sailing. Slow crawling. Right now I'm in first gear. I do want to give a shout out to the gentleman in the Tacoma behind me, whose name I don't even know if I caught or if he told me, so I'll have to go and catch up with him later. But this is obviously my first time out overlanding, if you will, use that terminology, off-roading, wheeling, that sort of thing. And I tried to come as prepared as possible. So I don't have like a ton of recovery gear. I got the fire extinguisher. I feel like that's beneficial. But I also had my walkie, which is MIA. Thank you. This one that we used for our road trip when Jen and I moved down to Tennessee. Can't seem to get these working, but the guy in the Tacoma behind me was nice enough to loan me his. This one's really rad. And yeah, it's been a lifesaver. So far, the community, East Tennessee Overlander, has been pretty chill. I like the organization. Comms are good, people are good. The vehicles are pretty tight too. We also came across quite a number of water crossings. So at this point here, I think this was our second or third water crossing, and we ended up actually trailing up the river a little bit just to get ourselves back onto the trail. So here we're probably, I've got 33-inch tires. They're probably coming up to about halfway on the tire. So nothing too crazy here. But it was definitely a little bit of an eye-opener as far as getting through water, getting through muddy terrain, and then all of a sudden we're on some boulders that we need to get over. So it was quite the experience.
What are your thoughts, Connor?
Well, yeah, I was just saying how great it is that I have this 3-inch body lift, which doesn't serve much of any purpose, except for maybe a little bit more ground clearance, and then also situations where you're in the pond. Whoa! Yeah, quite literally in the pond.
You're gonna try to stay down in this area tonight somewhere, or go ahead and get out of the mine. Yeah, the place I was thinking about is not very far up here. It looks like it's less than a mile. It's locked. Okay.
So much of this trip was just spent trying to focus on the guy in front of me. You know, a lot of these folks have been wheeling for a lot longer than I have. This was my first time out besides getting out on some forest roads. So I was putting the truck to quite a new level that I was comfortable with or even new. And again, here I kind of held back and watched that Land Rover get through this little water segment here, because it does get extremely deep and we get on a little bit of a tilt right about there. And just knowing where to put the wheels and tires was very crucial to get us up and through this, just all the water that we were coming across. It was not expected, but it was a lot of fun. I can't explain how cool it was to put this truck through just such different environments that I'm used to. It was truly remarkable.
Look out for you, buddy. Thank you much.
That was tight. Camp is all set up. Tacoma's muddy and parked. And Jen and I are about to start ripping on some, well, tell them, what are we cooking?
Steak and green beans and potatoes, my favorite.
Yes. It's the setup right now. We have it just with the one bed. Later on we'll do the 2-bed system. But for now we gotta get cooking on some steak, some potatoes, some green beans, and yeah, let's do it. We got green beans going, we got some potatoes that have pre-seasoned, some steak that's been kind of marinating with some salt and pepper for the last 24 hours. On the cast iron we've got the potatoes, waiting on the green beans, and then we'll throw the steak on the cast iron and finish it up real nice. Bone apple tea, my friends. Good morning, folks. It's the day 2 of the Kentucky Adventure Tour, and we've got ourselves a little bit of snow. You can tell on the camera, Yeah, I got a little wintry mix going on this morning. Everyone is just breaking down camp. Tacoma's already broken down because we slept in the topper, so we just need to get it warmed up, and then we're off to day 2 wheeling. Got everybody broken down from camp, and now we're just trying to get everyone out of the woods here, which is kind of a process, especially when you got trucks with trailers on the back. But yeah, this is one of my favorites on this trip so far. It's an old Land Rover Discovery 2. He's got it like bedlined with this sand colored bedliner. It looks freaking awesome. So hopefully we'll be behind him again a little bit today and I can follow his line. But this snow is gonna be a little interesting. It's definitely gonna make things slick, and apparently the trail's gonna be a little bit harder than it was yesterday. On the second day here is another water crossing with a little bit of snow on the ground. So the guy behind me actually got some footage of the Tacoma getting across this little water pass, and you can see the truck bouncing around. And again, the camera doesn't do it justice, but Jen and I were just flopping around our seats in there while we were kind of just making our way over these small boulders and things, and trying to line up the best lines possible to make a decent drive. And as we started getting up more into the elevation, the snow started sticking a lot more and created just a different driving experience than the first day. We thought it was slippery then, and now it was quite a new level of slippage, and just having to change up the driving habits to make sure that you're on throttle, getting up the hill, and you're not going to slide back into the guy behind you, and you're definitely not going to slide forward into the guy in front of you. So it was just a challenge, but so much fun, and I got to learn so much from all the guys around me. Currently we are stopped close to the top of the mountain, but we ran into a locked gate, so not sure what the play is here yet, if we have to turn around or just keep making our way up. But the snow is definitely coming down now, starting to cake down on the ground, so I know we have to come back down this way. We'll see how it turns out getting the rest of the way up. Once we finally made it up to the top of the mountain, we all got posted up and kind of took a little photo session here at the top of the mountain in the snow, which was pretty cool. There was some neat little overlooks. Again, here we ran into a closed gate, which was a little unfortunate because that meant we had to go back down the same way we came up, but now this time with even more snow, which made for a bit of a challenge, especially an unexpected one. And one thing I thought was really cool was these guys, some of them were actually pulling trailers behind them during the trip, which was just remarkable because I was so concerned with just getting my truck up, and these guys are out here with trailers. Mind-blowing. Currently about 4:10 in the afternoon, and we are basically still up at the top of the mountain. One of the other vehicles got a flat tire or punctures in multiple spots, so we ended up trying to put like a handful of plugs into it. They all kind of popped out at once, and now we're back to kind of square one with that. So we'll see kind of how long it takes to get that vehicle rolling. Not sure if anyone has a spare. At this point, we finally got off the mountain, and Jen and I just decided to call it on with one night of camping. We weren't really up for the second night, especially with the snow coming down and having not necessarily not a capable truck, but one of the lesser capable vehicles on the trip. We figured it was probably best to just head home, especially since we ran into some issues. The Tacoma made it back home. We dipped out on the second night of camping after had a little bit of a breakdown with the Tacoma on the last trail, and it got late and we decided to head home. But I wanted to show you guys the Tacoma. It actually held up awesome. We didn't dent or break any body panels or anything like that. The damage we did do, I gotta pop the hood. The whole 3.4 liter is pretty muddy right now, and I don't know if I can show you guys, but the fan, yeah, I don't know if it can pick it up down there, but it is in shreds. The blades themselves broke off into quite a number of pieces, so it causes this really bad idle vibration. So I went ahead and ordered a new fan, but that was honestly the only bad thing that happened with the truck. on the entire trip. Pretty sure that radiator fan is original and it's very brittle, so it was bound to happen, and unfortunately it's not a very expensive fix, so I'm grateful for that. But when it happened, Jen and I were heading through a mud pit, and so I was keeping on throttle, and then at the very end there was a rock that was submerged underwater, so we popped up pretty quick and hard on it, and then I think just that, maybe that hit, that vibration might have like broken the very brittle plastic fan, honestly, or it could have been the rush of water, maybe a pebble or something flew up into it. One of the other guys made a good point. He's like, you're lucky that the blade plastic, when it broke, didn't come flying into your radiator hose and cause a leak, and he's sure right about that. We definitely got lucky. So in the next video I'm definitely going to be fixing that up, and yeah guys, that was just such a fun time. If you enjoyed watching this one, it's a little different, doing a little bit of narration on this. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, comment below if you want to see some more wheeling, and I will see you guys in the next one. Keep elevating. Adios.